All right, what's up, my brothers from another mother? We've got a sponsored request, a topic from a gentleman that is basically asking me to follow up on a request I did a couple of years ago. He was really rudderless at the time, all over the place, didn't have any clear direction, and we're going to see if we can help him out and add some value to where he is right now. Let's just kind of scroll up. I don't want to get to his name, so you can, so we'll keep this anonymous. So subject is 2 years later. In the body of the message, he says he's settled in Saigon, Vietnam for the purpose of working on his weaknesses and finding direction in life. He's built a routine centered around personal development. Sounds like the focus is gym, dojo, Toastmasters, and coaching. Toastmasters is, of course, a speaking organization, so he's there to work on his weak communication skills and upgrade the public speaking element of that. I've also been asked to speak in a couple little webinars on finance investing, share the story. I have spent a year as with a paid coach. All areas of life have improved. All right, so this guy's doing some work. In my original response 2 years ago, you said I was all over the place at a 180-degree view, and I need to narrow it down to 10 degrees to zone in. He says he's not quite at 10 degrees yet, maybe at 50 or even 35. We'll keep at it. Any input on the how? Yeah, I'll get to that when I get to the end of it, but let me just kind of clarify for those of you that are new to the concept. If you're rudderless, you can be all over the place. Everything is pretty much distracting. It's like you have ADD. It's like, oh, look, a squirrel, and then the shiny object over there, and you go all over the place, and you're not really sure what you want to do. You want to be a coach. You want to be an entrepreneur. You want to be an inventor. You want to detail cars. You want to move to this country. You want to date, whatever. It's like when you're rudderless, you end up basically scatterbrained all over the place. You become a jack of all trades and realistically a master of nothing. So what I was asking him to do is narrow it down to about a 10-degree angle. You want to get laser focused so that you can focus on something and get some good results. We'll deal with the input towards the end once I've read this all, brother. I also spoke about wealth and wanted to build wealth. I sold my property in Canada, luckily before COVID hit, cashed out really good. So now I got some cash stashed away and this JOB that pays peanuts but covers monthly expenses. For those of you guys, again, that are new, JOB stands for just over broke, which is pretty much what all jobs will pay for most people. He knows it's no highway to wealth, no bum, and he wants to have some options. So you often talk about running out of runway. He's pushing 37 and he's aware of it. Again, I'll reframe for those of you that are newer. When an airliner is at is taxied to the end of the airline, the airstrip and ready to take off, it is the heaviest it's ever going to be. When it lands, it's considerably lighter because it's burned through a lot of fuel. So it needs a lot of energy. Wide open throttle, those things spin up, and you kind of start tanking down the runway. When I tell guys, as you're younger, you've got lots of runway ahead of you to get off the ground with what you want to do in life. It's a little bit different when you're older. At 37, it's almost like you're halfway down the runway sort of thing, because, at 37, you're pretty much close to halfway through your life. I mean, most guys in the West live, I don't know what the age of expectancy is. I think it's mid-70s or 78 or something like that in most countries. But basically, he's starting to realize that he's running out of time and wants to have some purpose and some impact. So although over the last 2 years he's improved tremendously, I still have no solid direction aside from his own personal self-development. I feel like I have all these new skills and any organization would be lucky to have me, but I want to build something for myself. You say, find a problem that people have and build a business around it. Nothing comes to mind, nothing sticks, just keep at it. Well, you can't build a business with nothing coming to mind and nothing sticking. For all men that are going to get into business for themselves, which is what this guy is talking about doing. And again, entrepreneurship isn't for everybody. Pretty much everybody can do it, but not everybody will do it successfully. It has to be a frying pan to the forehead moment. There has to be a obvious boom. Okay, this is needed. People are demanding it. They obviously rely on me for my expertise. They see it as valuable and they're willing to give me money. And he hasn't come across that clarity yet, so he doesn't know what it is that he wants to do. He's asking, just keep at it. Well, if that's something that you want to become as a man, become an entrepreneur, yes, you're going to have to keep going. So he bought into a business coaching course. I did a broadcast, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago with Xander. The course is closed now, but this guy is really smart and put together a very comprehensive program. So it sounds like my requester got into that. I don't expect to become a highly paid coach overnight, but once again, being in Vietnam gives me some options that others might not have. I picked up one free client that I've been working on for the last month for the experience and testimonials. So he's doing the work for free. I don't like that approach. because I'm going to go big screen here. For most guys, if you're not paying for the value that you're receiving, you're generally not paying attention. Now, that's not 100% true all of the time. In his case, he's trying to approach it from the angle, let me do some free coaching so I can get that testimonial in exchange for it. But you're entering at a very, very low point. The most authentic testimonials you're going to get are going to be from paid coaching. If you look at the clarity link beneath, I do one-on-one coaching. I've been doing it for, I don't know, since 2014 is how old that account is now. But if you look at the testimonials, I'm very highly rated, 5-star. I've done, I don't know, 400 or so, close to 400 at this time on that platform, several hundred others on other platforms in my own community as well. I'm always highly rated, and people are paying for the expertise. I always say, again, if they're not paying attention. And your experience as a man delivering the value to your customer is going to be far greater to them and to you when it's a paid coaching session. So I'm not a huge fan of doing this stuff for free. But anyway, so he's picked up one free client for the last month, the experience and testimonial. She's been in business for 20 years, so no joke. I don't think being a business growth coach is my end goal. However, it will help me get closer to entrepreneurs, perhaps help them, work with them, and maybe some of the wisdom will rub off on me. Okay, I'll deal with that towards the end. Maybe I'll pick up on some ideas there. As you said, when there isn't clarity, just take action. Yeah, so I always say in the absence of clarity, do something. Okay, so what do you think about all this free work? I've already dealt with that, covered that before you even asked. See, I saw it coming, man. I'm so good at these now. Learning skills plus adding value. Okay to get started, or am I wasting my time? Toastmasters. I'm not a big fan of Toastmasters. There's some business organizations that I'm not a big fan of. Toastmasters and BNI. I can't remember what BNI stands for. I think it's Business Networking International or something like that. They're fairly low-level communities. They are generally free or very low cost, which means your experience is going to be quite low as well. I am going to say this about BNI, though. It is a big waste of time. I went to a couple of them through encouragement, through some one or two friends that I was involved with in the mortgage industry way back in the day in my debt business. And it was like a breakfast table with a plumber, an electrician, an accountant, a paralegal, people in different fields. And they were basically trying to get customers off each other. They're looking for referrals like, oh, here's my card and here's my card. And do you know anybody? It's honestly, it's not a good use of your time. The higher up that you go, the better that your experience will be. So free or cheap generally means you're going to not get a lot of value in that environment. So he's talking Toastmasters, business growth coaching in Vietnam, blind spots, delusions, any and all input is appreciated. So one thing that I want to hit on here, brother, is, where did you say it? I don't think being a business growth coach is my end goal. However, it'll help me get closer to entrepreneurs, perhaps work with them, and maybe some of that wisdom will rub off on me. So the problem that I have with this mindset that you're approaching this at is you feel like you don't want to do or complete the course program that you got into. You feel like it's going to bring you closer to entrepreneurs, which it will. You know, you will become the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And if you surround yourself with better people, you will ultimately eventually become better if you allow yourself to spend as much time with them as possible and, you know, network with them, sort of thing. Perhaps help them, work with them, and maybe some of that wisdom will rub off on you. So as a business growth coach, you're supposed to be coaching them, but I feel like you're asking from them to give something to you. Again, you have more clarity than you did 2 years ago. I know for a fact that this demonstrates far more awareness, self-awareness anyway, and clarity around what it is that you want to do, but I don't think you found what it is that you want to do, which is okay. And it's not okay because you're getting a little bit older, and I get that you are starting to understand that, you know, you're running out of runway, but you're looking for the purpose in something that you want to do. So this video is really about how do I find my purpose, and then how do I execute on that? And I like to approach a lot of my areas in life with, you know, what not to do. Because if you avoid doing certain things, it will bring you closer to finding that purpose, to finding the true outcome, the self-fulfillment that you're seeking, because you're not getting it right now. Fine, got it. So here's a few things that you don't want to do. Don't do things that you hate. If you try something, if you know, for example, you're looking at being a paid coach for entrepreneurs and business owners. If you get into that and you find that you don't like it, or maybe you're not even good at it, I don't know, maybe it's a combination of both. But if you find that it doesn't blow your hair back, my buddy Brad, he always says, look, if it doesn't blow your hair back or knock your socks off, don't do it. You'll hear other speakers and these high level circles go on and on about stop doing shit that you hate. And I agree with that. Don't do stuff that you don't like. It's pretty simple. If you're doing things that you hate, you're never really going to be truly successful and wealthy at it, especially if you're running your own business. You can get away with it working for somebody else for a while until they fire you or until you get pissed off or your job gets eliminated or you quit. That's really the only area that you can get away with it. But if you're doing things that you don't find fulfilling and that you're good at, you're going to put yourself in a position where you find that you hate what you're doing and it's not self-fulfilling. And you'll ultimately, if you continue to pursue it, build a business that you truthfully don't like, doesn't fill your cup, and is a drain, like an energy vampire, just drains energy out of you. You should be allocating time and energy to things. My buddy Jason always says, think about what you lose track of time doing and then try to do more of that. So if you're at a task and you've done it for 5 hours straight and you've lost track of time and it feels like 30 minutes sort of thing, it's a pretty good sign that you're passionate about that. There should be no question that you're passionate about that. That's an obvious sign that you're in the right ballpark, that you're in the right narrower angle, in that 10 degrees sort of area. That's really what that means. That's what that definition means. So you want to find yourself in that area. So if you're doing things that you don't like and you're not filling your cup and you feel fully drained, maybe you spend an hour at it and it feels like you've been at it for 10 hours and you're like, oh, man, I'm cooked. Can't do that. Or I can't do that again until tomorrow or until 2 days from now because you got to recharge your battery sort of thing. So that's the first thing. Stop doing crap that you hate. You also want to, in my view anyway, stay away from moving physical products. Not because you can't make money at it or not because it's too hard or anything like that, but from my view anyway, there's extra layers of complexity that are involved with selling physical products. I just had this delivery come to the door. I got a nutraceutical. It's vitamin K2. So let's say that I'm a Shopify store that sells this stuff. It's got to get moved through shipping. It may not arrive. It may not show up in time. It may get damaged in shipping. It may get lost. There's all kinds of plus you have to store this. You have to figure out, well, where am I going to procure it from? Where am I going to get the labeling from? How am I going to brand it? Am I going to use drop shipping? Am I going to use fulfilled by Amazon? It creates a whole bunch of different layers of complexity. Whereas if you do a digital product, for example, or a course, it's delivered by email, right? There's no refunds, returns. You're obviously going to have a refund policy, but there's no, it got lost, it didn't get delivered or it got damaged or you have to store it in a warehouse or anything like that. It's basically 100% profit because when the customer buys, you hit send. The only cost to you after you've created it, by the way, is really just your credit card processing fees. So, with that being said, I prefer to stay away from physical products when it comes to developing businesses, something that somebody needs on a recurring basis. So again, I'll go back to a physical product as an example, although this can be used for a service, a community, or for coaching. You want to sell them something that they continuously need. I'm going to continuously need a supply of my vitamin K2, so I subscribe to it and they send it to me every couple months on the subscription model that I've signed up for. I can cancel any time, obviously. So you want something that they just don't buy once. Like the notion of a real estate agent, for example, bothers me because you're always hunting down for the new customer. With any of the businesses that I've created in the last 15 years or so, at least, it's always service-based or information product with recurring revenue. So I always have a customer for a long period of time. Those are just the main things that I'm looking for. And also I've talked about the things that you want to avoid. Maybe you're in the wrong place. Maybe you need to get the hell out of Vietnam. I don't know. By now, in the last couple of years, I get that you've gotten a little bit better and you feel like you've gotten a little more clarity, but I still see you doing things that aren't filling your cup. Like, I don't think being a business growth coach is my end goal. You're hoping that some wisdom will rub off on you. That's fine. So you should stop doing that then, if it doesn't work for you. Like, if it's not something that you want to do, that would be my recommendation. Try it out. If you discover that it's not for you, then don't do it. I'll give you an example. I like boats. I like boating. I like anything that moves fast, really. So before I bought a boat last year, I decided, well, let me go rent a boat and see what that's like. Driving Lake Simcoe is one of the bigger lakes in Ontario, north of the GTA, by the way. So I go to Simcoe, rent the boat for the full day, and I realized, you know what? I don't want to have a boat on this lake because of all these reasons. It's really choppy. It's a massive lake. There's all kinds of issues with marinas. Access to getting across the lake is quite difficult in some areas. It can take a long period of time, especially if it's choppy. And I just didn't really, like, at the end of the day, I wasn't like, yeah, I really want to do this again. You know what I mean? So I tried it out. I spent the money renting the boat. And I realized, you know what, I probably don't want to buy a boat on that lake, or that kind of boat specifically. Not to say that I may not do it in the future, but I learned that that's not what I want to do by trying it out. And then I just, beat it with a stick and buried it 6 feet under and kind of forgot about it. So there's certain things that you're going to do that you really appreciate and like. Like, I remember on my 30th birthday, being a car guy, I've always liked fast cars. I rented a Ferrari 355 Spider. And I realized at that point, at the end of the day, I wanted to have a mid-engine exotic car. No questions asked. It was going to happen. The juice was worth the squeeze for me. I wanted to do it for me. It was something that I really enjoyed. I had a lot of fun at. All the sensations, like all those boxes ticked off for me. Okay. So, I did the work and I got the car, sort of thing. I got a mid-engine exotic car, and right now I have a 608 horsepower V10 manual transmission, fully done, suspension, intake, exhaust. Love the thing. You guys have seen the car. You know what it is if you've watched my channel for a while. So with that being said, I tested it out and I followed it up afterwards. So keep doing things is what I would recommend. So my big piece of advice for you in this video is keep doing shit. Keep doing something until it sticks. And I would do more of it, because like you've recognized, you're 37 and you're aware that you're running out of runway. If it's not working for you in Vietnam, maybe you need to get out of the environment and find somewhere else that has a better network available to you. I don't know. I mean, you haven't talked about a great network being available to you in the area that you're at. So taking yourself out of that environment and moving on from it might be a good idea. So with that being said, I think I've given you a lot of good cues and experiences and some storytelling and what not to do, of course, and some of my best ideas for businesses when it comes to the kind of business that you want to structure. Leave me a comment below. Any of you guys watching this right now have been in a similar situation that have moved past that. Again, speak from experience. Don't make up shit. Leave a comment below on something that might be useful to this guy's request. If you want to make a request for a video, card up in the top right. Click that. You can sponsor a video topic. You send me an email with all this information, and I will record a video with some feedback. Also, if you're a guy that's chasing excellence, you want to enter in my men's community, I do have, just the basic tier, and I also have a more advanced tier for entrepreneurs that are looking for small group coaching sessions. Anyway, all of that is pinned in the community tab. There's a video that explains how that works. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.